All right, I'll tell you what I think is odd, among other things, is it's the three-eye atlas. So I looked, I thought, well, why would you name something a three-eye atlas? And I looked it up and learned what. But one of the things is that the three comes to, it's the third confirmed interstellar object ever detected. The first one in 2017 and the second one in 2019. Well, I think, are they the only three ever? Have there been some before? I mean, that to me made this so unique that this is only the third.
Oh, no. These three were observed over the past 8 years just because we built telescopes that survey the sky and can find them, because the US Congress tasked NASA to find 90% of all objects bigger than a football field. So then they built these survey telescopes and suddenly saw objects moving very fast. That's all. Obviously, over the history of the solar system, the Earth, there were billions of those. And right now, if any rock passes within at random, within the orbit of the Earth around the Sun, there should be a quadrillion of them at the same time within the solar system, 10 to the power 15. So clearly these are not the only three. But the question is, we don't know how much traffic of unusual objects there is. This is only our third date. It's just like going on a date and, seeing your first three, and you don't know how unusual they are. And, some people get married after the first encounter, but it's really not the best approach to interpret the nature of because there is no expert on interstellar objects. We have only three in our sample.
We have 30 seconds left, so tell me, what's going to happen to this after it passes by tomorrow? Then what?
Then it will come closest to Jupiter on March 16, 2026, and it arrives exactly at the distance from Jupiter where Jupiter's gravity dominates over the Sun's gravity. So an interesting question is, did it target Jupiter to deploy some kind of a device there? Or maybe it's just a chance coincidence, and let's just wait and see.
Three-Eye Atlas has just passed Earth and is now speeding away, making its way toward Jupiter with an alarmingly precise trajectory. The object is still far, about 35 astronomical units away, but its course is bringing it dangerously close to the gas giant's immense gravitational pull. As Three-Eye Atlas approaches Jupiter, its path could bring it into the planet's radiation belts, sparking new questions about its behavior. The anomalies surrounding this encounter are hard to ignore. The object's precise trajectory, unexpected gas emissions, and the oddities observed in its composition suggest there may be far more at play than the natural forces driving it. In fact, the latest observations from NASA's Europa Clipper mission has only deepened the mystery. It has offered us the first glimpse of the object's behavior through a series of unprecedented observations. Positioned over 100 million miles away, the spacecraft captured ultraviolet spectrograms that revealed new information about the gases and dust surrounding Three-Eye Atlas. These data suggest that the object's composition is far from ordinary. The gas cloud around it displayed irregular spectral features, challenging the traditional comet model. Typically, comets release gases such as water vapor and carbon monoxide as they approach the Sun, forming a long tail. But Three-Eye Atlas doesn't fit this mold. Instead, its gas emissions are erratic, exhibiting irregular patterns that go against the natural flow expected from such objects. This discovery is particularly striking because it's not just a single burst of gas, as seen in most comets. Instead, Three-Eye Atlas seems to have multiple emission points across its surface, suggesting that the object is either behaving differently or it's not behaving like a comet at all. As if the gas emissions weren't enough, the coloration of the gases is another anomaly. In typical comets, the gases released are relatively stable in their color. Water vapor and carbon monoxide typically produce consistent hues, often white or pale blue. But Three-Eye Atlas is far more complex. Images taken by astrophotographers show dramatic shifts in the color of the gas cloud, moving from orange to green depending on the time of observation. This behavior suggests different chemical reactions at play, pointing to a much more intricate composition. Such changes are rare and difficult to explain within the conventional understanding of comets, adding further mystery to the object's behavior. However, it's not just the color and composition of the gases that raise questions. The jets of gas themselves are another source of intrigue. As 3I Atlas approaches Jupiter, some of the jets have been observed emitting not away from the Sun, as expected, but toward it. This behavior contradicts everything we know about the natural forces acting on comets. Normally, solar radiation pressure drives gas and dust away from a comet's surface, creating a tail that points directly away from the Sun. But the jets of 3I Atlas are defying this pattern. In addition to the expected outward-facing jets, some of its emissions are directed toward the Sun.
Even more perplexing, some jets have been observed emitting from opposite sides of the object, a feature not typically seen in natural comets. This dual-direction jet emission suggests that something more complex is at play, challenging the basic principles of cometary physics. These anomalies raise significant questions about the nature of 3I Atlas. Could it be the work of forces or mechanisms not yet understood? Could it be influenced by something more than natural solar forces? The more scientists observe, the more they begin to question whether 3I Atlas is truly a natural object, or if it could be something far more deliberate. The possibility of an artificial origin, once seen as improbable, is now becoming a serious consideration. This shift in thinking is fueled not only by the unusual gas emissions, but also by the trajectory of the object itself. Its precise approach toward Jupiter is too exact to be entirely random. Some researchers are beginning to wonder if 3I Atlas is being guided on its course, as if following a planned path rather than a path dictated solely by gravity and the solar wind. The upcoming encounter with Jupiter only amplifies these questions. As 3I Atlas moves toward the gas giant, its trajectory places it near Jupiter's Hill radius, the region where Jupiter's gravity becomes stronger than that of the Sun. This is a significant area in astronomical terms. If 3I Atlas slows down enough, it could be captured by Jupiter's gravity and pulled into orbit around the planet. However, the object's speed complicates this scenario. It's moving far faster than most comets, which means that it would likely pass through the Hill radius without being caught. Still, there's something unsettlingly precise about its approach. The alignment of its path with Jupiter's gravitational influence seems almost too perfect, raising the possibility that its trajectory is no accident. It is as though 3I Atlas is positioning itself for something. Whether it's a gravitational capture or something more, its behavior is far too precise to ignore. Adding to the intrigue is the object's proximity to the location of the WOW signal, an unexplained radio signal detected by the Big Ear radio telescope in 1977. This signal, which has puzzled astronomers for decades, came from the direction of the constellation Sagittarius. Remarkably, 3I Atlas has entered the scene from a direction just 9 degrees away from where the WOW signal was detected. The odds of such an alignment happening by chance are incredibly slim, around 0.6%. This rare coincidence has led some to speculate that there could be more to 3I Atlas's journey than previously thought. Could the object be related to the WOW signal in some way? Could it be part of a deliberate effort by an unknown civilization to send a message or signal? Compounding the mystery is the composition of the gas cloud around 3I Atlas. Unlike most natural comets, which release gases containing a mix of hydrogen, water vapor, and carbon compounds, 3I Atlas's plume contains unusually high amounts of nickel, especially in comparison to iron. This abnormal chemical composition hints at something more than the random byproducts of a natural comet. It suggests that the materials on the surface of 3I Atlas may have been engineered, not just naturally formed. The presence of nickel in such abundance raises the possibility that the object could be a manufactured artifact rather than a cosmic wanderer. What if this object is not a random visitor, but a carefully designed probe sent with a specific purpose in mind? The anomalies in the gas composition, along with the unusual jet patterns and trajectory, all point to something far more complex than the simple passage of a comet through our solar system. As scientists continue to study 3I Atlas, one of the most perplexing aspects is the power and scale of its gas jets. These jets are far more intense than what we would expect from the typical sublimation of ice, a common feature in natural comets. The amount of gas being emitted, coupled with its velocity and the scale of the emissions, suggests that 3I Atlas is not just reacting to the heat of the sun in the usual way. To generate the observed mass flux,
the surface area of the object would need to be significantly larger than that of a typical comet. The sheer scale of the emissions points to a force far beyond the natural outgassing we've seen in other comets. The possibility that the object is utilizing some form of propulsion rather than relying solely on natural processes is increasingly likely. This raises the question, could 3I Atlas be equipped with thrusters or other technological mechanisms? Could its movements be deliberately controlled, potentially with the aim of guiding it toward Jupiter in a highly calculated and deliberate manner? Adding weight to this theory is the evidence of non-gravitational acceleration observed near 3I Atlas's perihelion. Such acceleration is often seen in spacecraft, but not typically in natural objects like comets. This phenomenon suggests that something is actively influencing 3I Atlas's trajectory, pushing it along its precise path rather than it simply drifting passively through space. Could it be that 3I Atlas is not just an innocent interstellar traveler, but an object whose movements are being manipulated? The possibility of some form of artificial propulsion or guidance system can't be ruled out.
Another truly baffling feature is the highly controlled orientation of its gas jets. Unlike the diffuse jets of most comets, which shift and change direction based on the object's rotation and position relative to the Sun, 3I Atlas's jets maintain an incredibly tight and precise focus, even over distances of up to 1 million kilometers. This is a level of precision that is rarely seen in natural objects and is more akin to what we would expect from spacecraft or artificial probes. In such engineered objects, thrusters and propulsion systems are carefully calibrated to control movement and maintain specific orientations. The fact that 3I Atlas demonstrates this degree of control over its emissions suggests that it could be using its jets not just for simple outgassing, but potentially for propulsion, navigation, or even for the release of smaller probes or equipment as part of a larger mission. This highly focused behavior further strengthens the hypothesis that 3I Atlas may be an artificial object, actively maneuvering its way through space with intent, rather than following a random natural path. As the object continues its approach to Jupiter, the anomalies surrounding it only deepen. The unusual jets, the shifting colors of the gas, the strange composition, and the precise trajectory all point to the possibility that 3I Atlas is not just a random interstellar visitor, but something far more deliberate. Whether it is an advanced spacecraft or an artifact of some other kind, the object's behavior and its path through our solar system suggest that its presence here may be part of a much larger plan. The approaching encounter with Jupiter promises to reveal more about this enigmatic object, and with it, perhaps answers to questions that have lingered in the realm of science fiction. Until then, 3I Atlas remains an anomaly, its true nature obscured by a veil of mystery that only deepens with each passing day.